Most people think that aging is just a downward spiral. But for women, becoming a crone, the wise woman, that is actually the crowning achievement of the second half of a woman's life. Hi there, I'm Kelly Taylor, and I'm the founder of the Crone's Quest movement. And I'm here today to share with you the stages that I went through when I was awakening my inner wise woman. So the first stage I call cringe. I think you know what I mean. The first time that you hear the word crone in reference to you, and you go, even if it's subtle, just a little cringe, because that doesn't feel like you. And you don't think you look like that, you're not old enough, you're just not ready for it. I can relate. When I was learning about the triple goddess, I really felt okay with my knowledge of the maiden, and pretty much okay with my knowledge of the mother. But when it came to the crone, I really didn't know very much. So I got online and did a search for images, which may have been my problem, but I did a search, and what came back were horrible images of witch-like old women. And I said, oh no, I don't think so. And when I really thought about that, I got angry. I was angry. Because after all that I'd done, all that I'd learned, everything I'd accomplished and overcome in my life, an ugly old witch was now my archetype? No way. But when I thought about it, I realized I really didn't know a lot about the crone. I didn't know about who she was or what she was. And that began my exploration of the crone archetype. Now, when I first started looking into the crone archetype, I have to admit I aligned with one statement Jean Shinoda Bolen made. And she said she thought that the word crone should be put on the trash heap of disparaging terms that were used when referring to older women. And I agreed with her. I thought it was a very insulting term until I got to know the crone. And then I was excited and even eager to take up that mantle. So what are some qualities of the crone? Well, she's a caretaker of society and not the family. She's a risk taker. She is a truth teller. And she doesn't give a shit what people think. But I think the quality that I resonated with the most was when I found out that she is a badass. Because in all my work with women, I always emphasize the importance of developing a badassified attitude when going forward in the world in your power. And that brings me to the next stage, which I call clout. Now, I'm not denying that in this patriarchal world that we live in, that power and influence of men definitely exceeds that of women. But if you look around, if you look at politics, you see Kamala and Hillary and Marianne Williamson. And when you look at finances, you find out that women are expected to control $34 trillion of assets by 2030. And by sheer volume alone, I mean, in the United States, 60% of the population are women over 55. And yet still, society insists on pulling down that curtain in front of us to keep us invisible. Yeah, invisible. Well, I decided I wasn't having any of that. And I realized that I wasn't a slave to what society thought about older women. I wasn't a slave to what they thought my body should be, or the makeup I should wear, or whether this was appropriate, or whether my hair should be short, or whether I should maybe cut my hair, or what is that latest anti-wrinkle cream that they think I should be using. None of that. I didn't have to do any of that. And what I learned about clout and power, the key to clout and power is one thing, only one thing. And that is, You have to claim it for yourself. And now we'll move on to the last stage, which I call the crown. It's interesting to note that part of the etymology of the word crone is in fact crown. Now, I'm going to share a little story with you, and I think that many of you, if not most of you, will be able to relate. So think about when you were a little girl and you had a magic wand and you had a beautiful princess dress and a gorgeous crown. And you walked around for that whole day, maybe the whole week, maybe even the whole month, and you knew that you were the princess of your entire kingdom. Entire kingdom. And I'm here to tell you today that the only thing that's changed is that now you're a queen. Queens are serene. Queens have an inner grace, powerful inner grace. Queens are integrated. They've integrated all parts of themselves, the maiden, the mother, and the wise woman. Sharon Blackie, in her book, Haggitude, talks about enviable female elderhood. Now I'm going to say that again. Enviable female elderhood. I love that word, elderhood. I just do. I like it a lot better than older or even elder. It's like elderhood, something that I can get my arms around. Feels like something I can be proud of. But the word that I loved the most is enviable. And enviable means it is so great that everyone wants it. And that's the life that you are here to create. So I invite you to join our sacred rebellion, where we push back and reject society's negative perceptions of older women, and instead we walk forward proudly, wearing our crowns, as we awaken the wise women within each one of us. And together, we will redefine and become the new Crone women for the 21st century.